But
Yeah,
but like we were saying, the cartoon was great, and then
it
like I
was.
said, it was meant to sell toys, but
It definitely was.
yeah, they didn't stop there though. They didn't stop there.
No, they didn't. And for those wondering, it lasted for 3 or 2 seasons, and for back then, for a show that lasted that long, it didn't last as long. Going back to Transformers, Transformers lasted 4 seasons, and in the 80s to the end 90s, but He-Man, it didn't. Because I guess by the time the second or third season rolled around, they were running out of ideas because every new episode or every season was just the same stuff. Because that's another thing about He-Man, that the 80s one especially, is that it was very repetitive.
Right.
He-Man would plan, or this monster would come up with the creative way of taking it down without killing it,
Like
and
Superman.
then he would continue on his day as Prince Adam and then end. Sometimes they would mix it up in the episode, I think, where He-Man had to team up with Skeletor.
Oh, yeah.
Reluctant, but he did eventually help him.
Right.
So they would mix it up here and there to where it wouldn't be too repetitive, but it was very much repetitive for its time. But it's a product of the time. The cartoon show was a definite 80s product of its time.
Right, and like I was saying, they didn't stop there. Like I said, the episodes were meant to sell toys, and it was supposed to target the boys like us to buy those toys.
Yes.
They didn't stop there.
Specifically,
they didn't stop there. They wanted to target also girls.
Yes.
They wanted to target girls. And that's when they created She-Ra.
Yes. But before that, they started making girls. They made Barbie versions of Teela and the Sorceress.
Oh, really?
They were the only girl character. Yeah, I think they did. They did eventually have a Barbie version of them, or a toy version of them, but it would just be for the girls exclusively. So the boys would get all of these manly monsters and humans, while the girls would just get 2 girl figures. That's pretty much it. But yeah, She-Ra. Oh my God.
Do you remember
a lot of people?
Do you remember the movie that introduced She-Ra?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. This was meant to be the end of He-Man in this movie. It was called He-Man and She-Ra. I think it was just called He-Man and She-Ra, where
I think
we
it was
find
called,
out that, okay, and I like this. See, if this movie it was successful as a pilot for She-Ra, but if it was so successful, my bad, it probably could have given He-Man a chance to be renewed for a 4th season, because this is something we didn't see in the cartoon. We actually find out a shocking reveal that sister that was captured as a child when she was a baby.
They were twins. They were twins.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yes, they were twins, and he basically decides, okay, I need to go find her. And he asks the sorceress, where is she? And she transports him. And when he goes into She-Ra's universe, he's basically fighting these goons, and we find out that She-Ra has been manipulated. I can't remember some of the bad guys' names because they were. Okay, yeah, Zardak.
Hardak.
They were. And she was manipulated into joining with them. And then He-Man, and also too, it turns out that, the sorceress somehow, some way, constructed a second power sword that was meant for his twin sister. I don't know how that's got to be the biggest ex machina I've ever seen, because, wait a minute, you're telling me you had this other power sword and you couldn't have given it to someone like, I don't know, Teela? Why did Teela get that power sword?
I'm not sure, but the way it was, the sorceress showed the sword to Adam or He-Man.
Yes.
And this one had a jewel on it, and he said it belonged to somebody in the next universe. That's why he went to the other universe to find his twin sister, and he did find his twin sister.
Yeah.
Got her name.
Yeah.
But the movie.
I know,
the movie that you were talking about, It's actually called He-Man and She-Ra: The Secret of the Sword, pretty much, is what it's called.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, and then basically He-Man's captured, and then he shows her the sword, and then somehow the sword gives her back her memories, and she remembers, holy crap, I'm good, and I have a brother. So she frees him, they go back to meet her long-lost father and mother,
King
and
Rangor.
Everyone's shocked. Like, it's got to be the biggest surprises to them, at least. And then we unfortunately have to see She-Ra go back to her own universe, which is kind of sad because she just got back and now she's got to leave again. And then basically that's where it mainly ended. So the movie was it was the ending of He-Man and the beginning of She-Ra. And She-Ra basically would, and we even got to see Zordok team up with Skeletor, but Skeletor didn't really do much. I mean, it was mainly Zordok and his goons that were, the new enemies of, the He-Man universe. So now She-Ra would do the same thing He-Man would do, but it's a girl. Like, that's basically it. She's the same as He-Man. She has the same powers, but she's a girl. That's the only difference. And her costume, her disguise in her costume is even more ridiculous because she looks the damn same, but because no one in her universe, can recognize her, it's okay. But
right, but all she had was like a crown, and I think her hair gets a little longer, and her outfit changed, and that's it.
And yeah, exactly. So I saw a couple of episodes of She-Ra, but I was never a full fan of it because I was a boy. I wasn't matured as I am now. Like, I was just like, I don't want to see a girl show with another He-Man. No, give me He-Man back. But no, She-Ra.
I used to own the action figure of She-Ra.
Oh, that's crazy.
I have to get it so I can add it to my collection with my He-Man action figures and stuff. So I was like, that's awesome. But I also found out her actual name. It's actually Adora. That's her name.
Okay. Wait.
Oh my. Doesn't it sound similar to Adam?
Yeah, it does. Like
Adora, Adam.
They both have A's. That's kind of okay. Yeah, that's.
And plus they're twins.
Called Amy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if she was just called Amy or something? Like, they couldn't have given her a regular name, like Adora. Wait a minute. Adora sounds like Fedora, but without the B. I just noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. My opinions on the She-Ra show, it was good. I mean, I can't say nothing else about it, but it was good. I mean, it was still the same creators and people working on it, but it was just targeted now for a girl demographic. But there were some times where, you would actually see He-Man cross over with her, but it wasn't like all the time where, Adam, come over here, help me fight this villain. No, it was on rare occasions, but the She-Ra show was good for what it needed to be, and it definitely was more popular than He-Man could be because this was a girl, and you had to exploit girl demographics back then because the only shows that did that were My Little Pony and Cabbage Patch Dolls. But with She-Ra, everything changed. Like, you definitely saw a more increase in the toy lines. The episodes got good ratings for its time. So I appreciate the She-Ra show for what it was. I definitely think she's very underrated now, but back then she was a popular household name. But nowadays, if you look up She-Ra, she's very underrated now because a lot of people just toss her off to the side because they don't care about her. They care about He-Man. They don't care about his sister, his twin sister. And it's kind of a shame too that we never got to see She-Ra take off after her show ended, because her show eventually did end because it suffered the same fate as He-Man, where the toy line was declining, the show was running out of ideas, so they just had to cancel it. And it never was mentioned again, because it's only been mentioned in the comics, but never again in a mainstream TV show was it mentioned. I mean,
they did have like
get its own movie. That's the thing.
Right, and they did have like the 2002 show of He-Man. They did have a toy line for her too, but she never appeared on that show.
Yeah, I hear they wanted to bring her back. They had plans to do that, but they just, I don't know why. Still to this day, I don't know why they didn't have her, but she has made a comeback in the comics of He-Man, but she's just not in because there's no new show. She doesn't have, I don't know how to put this, but she's basically like He-Man. She's a product of her time, but she's different than He-Man. She represents the 80s girls demographic. That's what she represents. Although they could write her differently as modern women characters are now, but see, that's the thing. I mean, not many people are willing to take a chance with She-Ra, because just for some reason that baffles me, she's a product of her time, of when women are not what they are nowadays. Because women nowadays have come a long way. Female characters, guys, female characters, not women themselves. Don't take that out of context. Female characters are written very differently now. They're not stereotypical, oh yeah, I'm better than men. We're better than men. We can do things you can't. And, it's basically a gender mashup. For which battle of the sexes is better. That's what She-Ra represents, unfortunately. She represents that demographic, but she was never written to represent that demographic. But it's just the way the toy lines made her, unfortunately.